So the topic is basically for automation people. It's important to understand what Jenkins is and how does it work. Uh, before starting this topic, uh, I would like to throw some light on what the process is, because it's important to understand the process, and further then you can able to connect with the tech that should be known to a tester or an automation tester basically. uh, why I'm telling this, that you should be aware of this, you would understand in some time. So previously, I would say some time back, what happens is automation tester used to create their code, right? It could be any code, so they could create in Selenium, or they could create in JBehave, they can create in Protractor. I mean, these are different kind of basically frameworks, right? These are different frameworks on which you can write your test automation code basically, right? You can write your test automation code on these different frameworks, Selenium, JBehavior, Protector. Now, in order to run this, what you can do is you can run it locally. By locally, I mean you would be having a URL to test. Okay, whatever company you are working in, you will be having a URL. Let's say your URL name is QA dot. Suppose your organization name is let's say global IT .com. So this could be the URL of your client that you would test. So what happens is you will put this URL in your Selenium or JBehave or Protector code, and then you will write some script to uh, replicate the scenarios that you have. So in order to run this, what you do is you can run it locally. You can just write your enter your test cases, and through the test runners or through your config files, if you're in Protector, you will just implement it, and it will start executing in your local browser basically, right? Whatever browser you have set in your script, let's say you have set Chrome, so it will start running your script. It will start running your script in this Chrome browser. So uh, now what happens is basically if you are working in an enterprise, if you are working in an organization, what the expectation is that whenever a developer, okay, whenever a developer deploy any new code or changes, okay, whenever you deploy a new code or the changes in the existing code, then the test automation suite, basically the code that we have, the test automation suite should be invoked automatically, and the testing should display display any errors are there or not. So this is the requirement at a very high level that our manager or our technical lead would expect from you, that whenever a developer deploys a new code or deploy a changes in the existing code, your test automation suite should be invoked automatically, and testing should be displaying any error if there are. So these all things will be integrated as a part of your code. So this is something different that I will not discuss. Test automation suite should be invoked automatically. So how it would happen automatically? So for this we have different kind of CI/CD tools, and the most famous one is Jenkins, right? It is used widely. And there are many other free of cost tools, but this is the mostly used, that is the Jenkins tool. Now, to understand Jenkins, I would take a very basic example to just make you guys understand that what basically happens on a Jenkins. So Jenkins is a server. Okay, Jenkins is an online server which will contain uh, all the softwares that your local machine would have. Okay, so to develop a Selenium code you will require many dependencies, right? If you are experienced in Selenium, if you are familiar with Selenium, then you would know what dependency is. So to have these dependencies ready on a server, so Jenkins is on a server that is on internet or cloud, so you should have these dependencies as well, right? In order to run your test automation suite on the server, you should have all the tools as well. So on Jenkins, we have manage tools, manage Jenkins basically, that I would just show you in some time, wherein you can configure different type of tools basically. Tools, by tools I mean you can configure Maven there, right? Maven is a build management tool wherein we define all our dependencies, uh, and there is a vast topic itself. The Maven is for a short I would say it's a build management tool. Then you would also configure JDK, on which JDK you are running. As of now, in current date, July 2022, JDK 1.8 has been deprecated, so you should have JDK 11 to run Jenkins. But there is one more limitation, that if you have the enterprise uh, basically license, then only you can run the Jenkins for JDK 11 on your machine. Okay, there are some hacks that I would share in separate video itself about how to basically do this. Okay, so Maven, Jenkins, JDK. In addition to this, you can configure TestNG. Okay, basically you can configure TestNG here, or if you have Gradle, let's say as a build management, so you can also configure Gradle and suit. There are many other configure tools. Basically, Jenkins is more of a developer tool that developers use. So for testing purpose, this is what is sufficient as of now. So after configuring the tools, you should also have the plugins installed in your Jenkins. So majorly you would need Selenium, then you would need TestNG, you would require JUnit. It depends what framework you are using, what test report plugin you are using. You can just invoke it. If you are having Cucumber, then you should have Cucumber reports or Cucumber related plugins installed. So etc. These all plugins should be installed. Otherwise, you will get an error. So anyways, you will install it. So better install it beforehand. And then you can just have the configuration. You can configure your build on the Jenkins, that we will see in due time. So this is what a Jenkins is. So in short, whatever softwares that are installed on your local PC, the same softwares like Maven, JDK, TestNG, Selenium, all these are the part of this Jenkins tool, Jenkins server, so that when you upload your code, test automation code on Jenkins, it should be able to run. So it is providing it kind of a virtual environment to run the code. So why are we doing this? Why? What is the need of doing it online? So that even if the system is off, and also if you need a automatic invoked suit whenever a deployment happens, so there should not be any dependency on you. That means you should not be physically present there. It could automatically uh, trigger your suit, and it will automatically generate the report, and the developer or any management should be able to see the report, that what all errors are there in the build, and they can just continue the development. So the dependency will be removed, and in a very short time all the dependency will be removed, and in the very short time you would be they would be able to develop the software. So this is what the advantage is. It's making the process fast, the development process fast. So let me jump into like how you can do it locally, because in enterprise, Jenkins is managed majorly by the DevOps team. Okay, Jenkins or any operations are managed by the DevOps team, and you would not be having any kind of access to the controllers of Jenkins. Okay, so how will you do it then? So basically, Jenkins DevOps team collects the requirement from the tester. Okay, so what will happen is, if you want to configure your automation framework in your enterprise, you would need to give your requirement to the DevOps team, and DevOps team then will develop this pipeline of Jenkins as per your requirement. So this will happen as a process. Once this is done, you will have your Jenkins pipeline ready. So first, let us see how the Jenkins looks. How does it work? Then I would continue on this topic, and you would be able to understand that what I am talking about. Okay, I will. You can just come back, reverse the video, come to this point, and listen to this statement again, and you would be able to understand what I said. So to run the Jenkins, you should have the jenkins.war file downloaded. Okay, you could find on the Jenkins official website. Just download the file and navigate to the location of that file. So for me, it is in downloads folder, and I have created one more folder named G. So it is inside G folder. Now what you have to do, you just have to pass java -jar and jenkins.war, because the file extension is .war, and just hit enter. So it will start the Jenkins server. So if you are doing it for the first time, it will generate a password here. Okay, if you are doing it for the first time, there will be a password generated, and you just have to copy that password. And what you have to do, you have to follow this process of opening the local host 8080. Okay, open the local host :8080, and you will be navigated to this Jenkins homepage, and that password, that one-time password that is generated, if you are doing it for first time, you just have to paste there and create your username password. So I have done it beforehand. I would just write my password and I will just log in here. So once you log in, this is how your Jenkins dashboard looks like. Okay, all these jobs that you are seeing, these are all the builds that I have created previously, and for this demo purpose, I am going to create actually two builds. I am going to create two builds for you, so that you would be able to know how to create the Jenkins build for local setup and for a GitHub setup both. So for the local setup, first what you have to do is go to this manage Jenkins settings bar. Okay, there is a manage Jenkins. So just click on this manage Jenkins. As I have told you here, that there is manage Jenkins. Inside this we have configure tools, plugins, right? So this is what we are seeing right now. So go to the manage Jenkins. Herein you can see global tool configuration and manage plugins. So just go to global tool configuration. Inside global tool configuration, you will have all the tools that you can invoke for your uh, basically Jenkins setup. So for JDBC, if you are connecting with database, you can provide the JDBC URL and the credentials of your database. After that, here are the JDKs. So JDK installation can be done. You can just select the JDK and the path to your JDK in your system, right? This is C drive, program files, Java, JDK 11. So you can just provide the path. After that, you can also provide the Git path if you have any, but just leave it blank here for now. Similarly, for Maven, you can just provide this latest version of Maven, that is 3.8.6, because most probably you would be having a Maven as a build management. If you have Gradle, you can provide a Gradle version, whatever it is there, and just apply it and save it. That's it. So now your global tool configuration is complete. After this, go to manage plugins. Inside manage plugins, go to the available. So herein you can search for any type of plugin. For like, I could like Selenium, you just write Selenium, so you will have Selenium there. If you want testng, just write testng. Then you can find all the available plugins. For you, I would show you what all I have installed. So here you can see I have installed all type of plugins that are required, like Chrome driver, okay, Cucumber reports, then email extension plugin if I want to integrate it, GitHub plugins. After GitHub, that you would be familiar, I would just show you, uh, let's say Maven plugins, right? All the Maven plugins I have installed, and in addition to that, I have also TestNG and Selenium plugins, all sort of plugins that are required for this Jenkins setup. All the plugins can be installed using this plugin manager. So once this is done, once you have installed all the tools, once you have installed all the plugins, if you want to add any nodes that would require in your project, after all these things are done, what you have to do, come back to the dashboard and click on new item. Okay, click on new item, and here you have to provide the name. So let's say your project, you can provide any name, just name it like this, demo first. Okay, and here you have to choose Maven. Okay, this Maven we have already installed through the Maven Jenkins. As I have told you, you have to install this Maven. Once you install there, then only you would be able to see Maven here. Okay, so choose Maven and click on OK. So once you do this, it is going to ask you for some more additional informations. Okay, so these additional informations are, first of all, the description. Okay, in description you can provide, this is my test automation suite, anything, right? For now, just leave all these blanks. Okay, because we are not familiar with this. Now here, source code management. So source code is nothing but your test automation suite, that is your framework code. Okay, so there are two ways to provide. One is through Git. Okay, Git is nothing but an online repository tool wherein you can maintain your code, just like a Google Drive where you maintain your docs. Similarly, GitHub is an online repository where you maintain your code, and you can share that code with your teammates. Like in Google Drive, you share the document. Similarly, you share the code. But I have just told you this for an example. The functionality is very vast. It is recommended to have all the knowledge before using the Git. So you can follow a different video for this purpose. So for now I have choose it as none, because I am not going to use Git here. I am going to use the local drive only. Okay, so what happens if you put Git? So it will ask for your repository URL. So when you go to Git, you have your framework there. You just have to copy the URL and paste it here and provide the credentials. Okay, just provide the credentials and just save it. So this Jenkins will automatically pick your code. It will get your code from this URL and it will run it. Okay, for now I am going to choose it as none. All these things you can leave it blank, because this is nothing of our concern currently. Now just come to here and provide your pom.xml. So where is your pom.xml? This is in your test automation suite. I'll just open my IntelliJ. In my IntelliJ, I will be having some project. Okay, let's say this is the project I have. I'll just open one of my project that is running successfully. Once this searching is done, it's taking infinite time. Okay, close. I'll go to file. I'll open this project, this window only, right? So I have this pom.xml. What I'll do is I'll just let it complete the loading. It's taking some kind of configuration time. I don't know. Yes. So go to this pom.xml, right click on it, copy the path, absolute path, come back to your Jenkins, and in your build root pom, just provide this URL. So now your Jenkins have the address of your pom.xml, because this is where the execution will start, right? In your pom.xml, if you are familiar with Selenium, you have all the dependencies of Selenium JUnit, so it will install all the dependencies inside your uh, Jenkins, and then it will start executing it. So once this is done, what you have to do, just apply it and save it, and you have to click on build now. And once you click on build now, it will start executing your job. This is where you can see the job. You just click on this and click on console output. Herein you can see it is collecting the dependency, it is downloading from central, and it will start executing your Cucumber BDD framework. It is parsing the POM. So whatever things you see in your console output of your IntelliJ, the similar things you will be able to see inside this Jenkins. Okay, maybe here we can see some kind of errors because this is the first time we are doing it. So this is how. So the build is success. It was a very small piece of code, so the build was success. It is done, and you can see the console output is up and running. So this is how you can work with Jenkins. Suppose if you have any report that comes into your console output, so the same report link will be generated here in your console output, and you can just click on it, and your report will be displayed in the same browser. But I am coming back to the thing that I was explaining, that DevOps. What is the role of DevOps here? The all the configuration that we did just now, right? From manage Jenkins to installing the tools to creating the job, all these things will be done by DevOps. So you need not to worry about these things. But why I have explained the process? Because the DevOps team will ask you for the requirements. So what you have to say, you have to explain these requirements, that I would require these dependencies, I will require these tools, and once the report is generated, I should be able to view it in the Jenkins dashboard itself. So these are all requirements that you communicate to the DevOps team. So this is how a Jenkins work and the use of Jenkins is. Uh, you might not be able to run it Jenkins with 1.8 version, so better install JDK 11, and in a separate video I would explain to you how to configure it.